Cerebral palsy, two words that may change your life but never defines it. It's more than a diagnosis, it's a journey of strength, resilience, and love. Yet, behind every step, every challenge, and every triumph, there is a story of families navigating the unknown, of communities coming together, and of individuals proving that ability is not limited by disability. Today, we listen, we learn, we stand together to raise awareness, to break misconceptions, and to celebrate the strength of those living with cerebral palsy.
My name is Adesanya Debi.
My name is Bukola Ainde.
Before we talk about cerebral palsy, something actually will usually lead to cerebral palsy, and which is asphyxiation. And asphyxiation is a short of oxygen supply to the brain, and which in turns will lead to cerebral palsy. It could be, asphyxiation could be mild or severe in whichever case it is, and it could lead to cerebral palsy.
I'm the founder of Diary of a Special Needs Mom Initiative, and I have two lovely daughters. And my first has cerebral palsy. She's currently in secondary school and she's thriving.
Cerebral palsy in turns is a brain damage. A brain damage. It could be partial, it could be total brain damage.
While I was pregnant, I had preeclampsia, which is a protein in the urine. So I had an emergency CS. So she came out very early and she weighed 1.2 kg. But even as at that, I mean, we were assured everything was okay. She was in the incubator. Yes, she had mild jaundice and she had her treatment. However, she had apnea. I mean, that was, she wasn't breathing. Then she was resuscitated, After that, our health improved. We were released from the hospital and we went home. 4 months after that, she wasn't meeting her milestones like, sitting, holding her neck properly, her neck being able to carry her head, she would wobble. I went back to the hospital and they were like, oh, she's a preterm, give her some time. Then at 8 months, she still wasn't meeting any milestone. So we went back to the hospital and ran some tests and she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
We actually had the baby in 2011. There are so many things that came with it, but our case was just, it was just a medical negligence that led to our own case, because a lot of things went wrong, which we cannot start talking about. It was a medical negligence that in turns, we had to file a case on it and all of those things.
We were devastated. I mean, it was as though the world had crashed, because after that initial diagnosis, we had to meet a neurologist who said on a scale of 1 to 5, if 1 was least, 5 was most affected, that she was a 5. So I don't think it's a news that any parent wants to hear about, but we were devastated. And my first reaction was, oh, my enemies have done this. And I went from, one church to the other church, praying to God to heal my daughter. And when that didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen, I became depressed. In fact, I wasn't even leaving my house. I only went out maybe to the hospital, to the bank. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was totally depressed.
Well, it was a very challenging moment. It was really a very tough one, because Until that moment, I never knew what cerebral palsy is. The unfortunate thing is we didn't really know about those early signs until we confirmed that it was cerebral palsy. Now, one of the things we saw, even when she was being discharged from the hospital after, I think, the 6th day that she was giving birth to, as we were going home, we saw her jerking. She was just jerking, and even while the mother was asking me, why is this girl jerking? I said, no, you have gone through a lot of stress. She has been stressed and all of that. Just leave her alone. But unfortunately, over time, we realized that she started having seizures.
Cerebral palsy is a damage to the parts of the brain that affect the muscles and movement. We need our muscles for everything, to smile, to breathe, to walk, to stand. So from all over, we need our muscles, and that part of her brain, was affected. So when she wasn't meeting her milestones, like even her smile was lopsided to one side, her head would wobble, she couldn't crawl, she couldn't turn over, you know how a baby would try to crawl. She wasn't doing all that, because at every stage, babies are supposed to meet particular milestones. So once she wasn't meeting that, as a first-time parent, I knew, at the back of my mind that something was wrong, but I blanked my mind in accepting that something was wrong. So it took my aunt, my husband's hand, to say, go take this child to the hospital, get a diagnosis so that you know what you're dealing with.
So once she has temperature, or she gets too cold or something like that, she started having seizures and all of those things. So, but another sign is, children at 3 months or thereabout, you start seeing them manifesting seeds, their neck become firm and all of those things. But unfortunately, hers isn't this like that. We have to keep supporting her. We have to put her in a carton, put some things. It was really something else. But all those symptoms, we didn't see it like, it's because we don't even know what cerebral palsy is all about. So we didn't see it as anything until we get to know that, yes, it was cerebral palsy. Initially, we really didn't find any care, except for the fact that we keep rushing her to the hospital at every point in time, during the day, at night, even in the middle of the night. Once she had seizures, almost all the hospitals in Lagos State knows us. So we keep rushing her in and out of the hospital. We later find out about a school called CDC in Surulere. Then we enrolled her, CDC, Center for something development, I've forgotten. It's at Surulere. It was there we get to know about, okay, therapy, this, that, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and all of those things.
Initially, the focus was on my first daughter, Oluwalonimi, trying to get her all the help if she's sick or. However, along the line, we began to notice that her younger sister felt, neglected. There was a day someone came to the house and called her Nimi's sister. And she told the person, no, my name is not Nimi's sister. I have a name. My name is Oluwapemi. We laughed over it, but for me, that was a wake-up call. So her dad and I decided to, ensure that we have time for her separately. She loves to play. Her elder sister loves to watch TV. So we ensure, she can go for play dates with her friends. We take her out separately. Then we also have, one-on-one with her, just to let her know that we love her. and we don't love her less. Managing disability in Nigeria is like walking through a maze because I even realized that some of our doctors are not vast when it comes to the knowledge of treating children with disability. Then when it comes to therapies as well, you're looking for a physiotherapy, you're looking for a pediatric physiotherapist, not just any kind of physiotherapist. You are looking for an occupational therapist. So for me, I had to do a lot of research and I heard so many things, and one of the things I heard was, children like this, in quote, do not go to mainstream schools. So, I should take her to a special needs school. They should focus on just her being able to sit, to walk, which was what we did initially, But when we got to the special needs school, the particular one we went, I wasn't impressed. Even though we stayed there for like 6 weeks, I wasn't impressed.
It took my mother-in-law, it took her a lot to start introducing normal food to her and all of those things. So one of the things is finance. Then the trauma is overwhelming because she doesn't even sleep. She finds it very hard to sleep. She can sleep like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Any little movement, she's awake and she cries like all around the clock. Like almost every time you find her crying and all those things. A lot. Sincerely, like I said, is very challenging. It affected everything. First of all, my first child was affected badly because at that point we almost neglected that boy because every focus was on the sister and all of those things. It affected our social life because everything became unnecessary to us.
Going through my healing journey, I realized something early, was that this is my life. I'm not going to get to age 70 and say, God, you have to pause this my life. I've been taking care of my child with special needs, then I will now go back and start my life all over again. So I knew that I was in my life the main actor in this life and there was no rewinding the time. So that got me really thinking that, and I had to ask myself the pertinent questions. Who was I before I had my child with special needs? What were my dreams? I had to go back, and ask those questions. And I realized that I had to fight for what mattered. I had to fight for my relationship, for my career. And what I did was, when I settled my support system, I was able to pick my life back because when I had her, I had stopped working, I was depressed. And what I did after then was, I took baby steps.
We had to sell a lot of properties along the line too because you don't have choice. Even the business we opened to say, okay, let's cushion the effects through this business. She's working, I'm working, but let's look at this business to cushion the effect. At the end of the day, it was ruined. The first misconception is, I'm all alone. God allowed it to happen. It's a lie. God did not allow it to happen. Like I said, there are several things that could cause cerebral palsy. And all those things, if medically we are very okay here in Nigeria, those things are preventable. A lot of them. While the mother is pregnant, there are some certain signs that they would have seen that they can correct.
A lot of people misconstrue cerebral palsy to mean intellectual disorder or intellectual disability. Cerebral palsy is the damage to the part of the brain that affects movement. If the child has learning disability, it is an addition. It does not all the time follows that a child with cerebral palsy must have intellectual disability.
The only support I could say we had to do with, she got so much love from the family, immediate family. She got so much love. And extended family, at a point when things became, you will get to a point that I started to give her all the support and all of those things.
My best support system, or the people, or the person, my support system is my husband. I'm saying that because if we're not working as a team, I don't think my daughter would have accomplished all that she has accomplished today. And I don't think I would also be able to combine caring for my child as much as I do with what I've been able to accomplish with my career. The usual thing everybody says is, oh, it's not a death sentence. But I would say this, yes. In Africa, we're very spiritual. So the very first thing I would say is you pray and have peace in your mind. Then the next thing I would say is it's okay to cry. Don't bottle it up because, we're so focused on trying to get help for our special needs child, our child, that we neglect ourselves. We don't have enough time to process what we have just heard. Because you're in the community where we live, where you have myths of, children with disabilities are from strange worlds, or maybe you have sinned against God, or somebody is saying, maybe you use your child to create wealth. So there are so many dynamics going through your mind. I want to tell you to block out any negative word.
If we have more support from the government to provide what those things they will need, I think they will thrive well, and the society will be a better place for them.
I would love to see many changes in our society when it comes to persons with disability.